The Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisal, Chapter D continued, picking up at Distraint, page 67. Distraint, the seizure or appropriation of property to pay off a debt or obligation. Distress sale, a sale involving a seller acting under undue duress. See also page 68. Disposition value, forced sale, liquidation value. Distributed cash flow. Revenue from any source that is or can be distributed to the investor. Distribution method. C. Extraction. Distribution warehouse. A storage building designed to promote the logistical movement of goods. Special emphasis is placed on providing adequate loading facilities and easy truck ingress and egress. Modern distribution buildings feature 24-foot minimum clear height and typically one or more dock-high loading doors for every 10,000 square feet. District. Number 1. A neighborhood characterized by homogeneous land use. For instance, apartment, commercial, industrial, agricultural. Number 2. A unit of local government with the authority to levy taxes and issue bonds to finance schools, parks, sewers, etc. Number 3, a jurisdiction in federal or state court where legal actions involving real estate are heard. Dividend growth model. A valuation model based on the idea that the equity yield requirement is the sum of the current dividend rate plus the expected growth rate in dividends. Dividend interest. An interest in part of a whole property. For instance, a lessee's interest. See also partial interest and undivided interest. Dividends. The income earnings on an equity investment. Dockominium. A marina in which the individual wet slips have been platted as individual condominium units, generally described by the length and width of the water surface area within the boat slip, but may include upper and lower dimensions that describe a cube. Other elements of a marina development, such as piers, pilings, parking areas, utilities, clubhouses, pools, and other amenities, are typically common elements of the development and owned pro rata by unit owners. Units or membership may be purchased or leased. See also racominium. Document stamps. The official transfer tax stamps required to be affixed to a deed by state or local law. In many states, the amount of the transfer tax is marked on the first page of the document rather than represented by actual stamps affixed to the document. Dog track. A racetrack smaller than a horse track, in which a significant part of the facilities and operations is devoted to sports betting. Dollar adjustments. Quantitative adjustments for differences between the comparable properties and the subject property expressed in monetary terms rather than as percentages. See also percentage adjustments. Domicile. The locality where a person or corporation has legal residency. Dominant estate. A property that is served or benefited by an easement. The opposite of the servient estate, which granted the easement, also known as the dominant tenement and the servient tenement, respectively. Dominant tenement. See dominant estate. Double net lease. See modified gross lease. Dower. The portion of or interest in a deceased husband's real property that the law gives to the widow for life. Varies with statutory provisions. Down payment. Cash a buyer pays at the time of purchase. Usually includes the earnest money deposit. See also earnest money. Down REIT. A real estate investment trust, REIT, structured much like an umbrella partnership REIT. UPREIT. UPREIT is the acronym. But the REIT owns and operates, page 69, properties outside of its interest in a controlled partnership that owns and operates separate properties. Downtime. The period of time that a rental space is vacant between tenants. A component of vacancy. Downtime is likely to be longer during weak market periods and shorter during strong market periods. See also general vacancy and tenant turnover. Down zoning. A public action in which the local government reduces the allowable density for subsequent development. For instance, fewer housing units, fewer stories, lower floor area ratios, or changes the allowable use from a high use to a low use. For instance, from multifamily to single family. Drainage district. A unit of local government set up to construct and operate a drainage system for the area, usually to achieve a higher and better use of the land served by the district. Drainage easement. See drainage right of way. Drainage right of way. The right to drain surface water from one owner's land over the land of one or more adjacent owners. Draw. Number 1. A natural path of drainage on land, usually not of great depth. Number 2. An advance or an amount removed from an account. Drawing power. The relative ability of one retail establishment to attract and retain customers' patronage. Draw tenant. A store that attracts a large volume of customers to the center. ICSC. See also anchor store and credit tenant. Drill tract. Track. A rail track serving industrial property from which individual industry tracks branch off to plant sites. Track kept open for the movement of locomotives in sorting cars or moving them to and from yards. A track on which a locomotive works, not one on which cars stand, also called lead track. Drip. A type of easement or servitude derived from civil law that grants permission for the falling or dripping of water from the roof of one property owner onto the estate of a neighbor. Drive-in theater. An outdoor movie theater where the audience members remain in their cars to watch the presentation. Typically consists of a large paved lot with individual sound speaker hookups that attach to cars and a limited number of small buildings to house the concession stand and restrooms. Driving range. A golf practice facility that consists of a range area and a tee area. Users hit practice balls from the tee area into the range where they can be gathered by the range operator for reuse. Dry dock. An artificial basin for the reception of vessels from which water can be removed, used to repair ships below water line. DSTM. See department store type merchandise. Due diligence. In a property acquisition or investment transaction, the standard investigation of contractual terms and property and market characteristics prior to closing the transaction. Due on encumbrance provision. A provision in a mortgage that allows the lender to accelerate the debt if the borrower places an additional mortgage lien, for instance, a second mortgage, on the collateral property without permission. See also due on sale clause. Due on sale clause. A clause in mortgage contracts that provides that the outstanding loan balance is due when the mortgage property is sold or transferred. Precludes loan assumption by a new buyer. Page 70. Duplex unit. A housing structure with two separate living units, either side by side or one above the other. Durable capital goods. Goods that can be used repeatedly. For instance, machinery as distinguished from raw material. Durable goods. Consumer goods that can be used repeatedly. For instance, a refrigerator. As distinguished from short-lived goods. For instance, bread. Duty of reasonable care. The obligation of a person in business to observe the standards of a competent and prudent person engaged in the same profession. Dwelling. A structure designed or occupied as the living quarters of one or more households, usually equipped with cooking, bathing, toilet, and heating facilities where necessary.